Today I'm going to show you how to replace the burr inside of a Turin branded DM47 grinder. And I'm going to replace the stock burr with this Kinu pour over burr. And I will tell you why at the end of this video, but for now let's just get right into it. So the first thing you're going to need is a 13mm socket. You could probably use a wrench, but the socket makes it easier to remove the nut that's holding the burr in. The next thing you're going to want is a set of pliers. Here are just these adjustable plumbing pliers, I guess. And I've wrapped the teeth with some electrical tape. This is just regular electrical tape, just to keep the burrs from getting marred while I, hold on to them to remove that nut. The other thing that's helpful to have is a set of snap ring pliers, and this is going to help you remove it. A snap ring that holds the burr on. It's sort of a safety mechanism. And finally, a small flathead screwdriver. So if you don't have the snap ring pliers, you could use the screwdriver to remove the snap ring. I just find it a lot easier to use these snap ring pliers. So let's get into the grinder itself. It's really easy to do. The first thing you're going to want to do is just screw off this collar here. Take out this little metal bar and then pull off this adjustment collar. Now what you can see inside the grinder is that there is a burr held on by this nut. Normally nuts and screws, you turn right to tighten it. Here we're going to turn it right to loosen it. So just remember, this is a reverse threaded bolt here. So I'm just going to put the socket on here and then grab my pliers, tighten down on the burr, and then I can just loosen that nut, and then from there remove it. So pretty simple process. Now inside of here you can see that there's a snap ring. I'm just going to use these pliers to loosen and remove this ring. All right, got it. Just your standard snap ring. Make sure not to lose it. If you're using a screwdriver, it can go flying all over the place. Replacing the burr itself is really simple. Now you can just pull out this burr. And what I'll do now is take this pour over burr, and just for comparison's sake, we can look at the difference between these two burrs. They look similar, but they are quite different. Even the shape of them is a little different. Replacing is just the same as removing the burr, just in reverse. Just make sure it's slotted in properly. We'll take the snap ring and put it around. And here you can use a little screwdriver to push it in. So I'm just going to push this in. Then the nut. So we'll just tighten it to the left. Again, it's reverse threaded, so you're going to want to turn it left to tighten it. It's kind of backwards from all the other screws that you've ever used. And then just the pliers, you can hold the burr while you give it a tighten. So I'm going to reverse it now and just use left to tighten it here. That's it. From here, you can just put your adjustment collar back on. There are 3 tabs here that align with these 3 tabs on the grinder. So we'll just stick those guys on here, push it down, get this metal bar, put it back through this hole. And then put on this collar. And that's basically it. This grinder has had the burrs replaced. So now inside, it's difficult to see, but the black burr is now visible inside this grinder. So why did I choose this particular pour over burr? Is actually a friend of mine loaned me his grinder. Brian, thank you for loaning me your grinder. And inside this, he's already replaced the burr. And I compared this burr, the burr in this grinder, to my DF46 with cast burrs. And I actually thought that this burr did everything the cast burr does well, but it does those same things better. Like everything is rounder, everything is sweeter, there's less astringency. So basically all the positive characteristics of the cast burrs, but it was just nicer. It was like a nicer version of that cast burr. And the reason I actually run 2 grinders, now I have this and the P100 with high uniformity burrs, is those high uniformity burrs are a lot like multi-purpose burrs where the acidity is like really prominent. There's a lot of clarity and space between the flavors. Whereas this pour over burr, everything is like really rounded and sweet. there's a lot more complexity and just more stuff going on here. And so I just like to have the option of having something a little sweeter, a little different from, multi-purpose burrs or the 98mm high uniformity burrs. So I hope this was helpful for anyone who's changing their burrs out in this grinder. And if you're looking for a budget grinder, this is a great one. All right.